Hey, this is Pig from the Bloody Beacon, coming to you live from our bunker in the alley behind the Tim Horton in downtown Utopia. I'm here to talk about Alligator Jackson's Inside Huntington story, which is really blown up, and it says a lot about the subject matter itself. You know, we're talking about a couple of days, 100,000 reads on a story that was a paragraph, a sentence, and one picture. You put that all together with the picture's worth 1,000 words, then you got 1,100 word piece, and maybe it makes a little bit more sense. You know, I'm personally not into giving junkies, $300 in gear once a week. With 40 syringes, etc., things to tie off with. I think the decision makers at the Cabell County Health Department one of them came up with this brilliant idea while they were tying off themselves in the office. Maybe Jane Doe in the office is a bit of a whore, and John Doe, no relation, was uncomfortable sharing her works. Then Eureka! It hit him between the eyes in a slow motion, but effective heroin-induced manner. If I'm uncomfortable, says John Doe, to share needles with this skank, then perhaps all the junkies are uncomfortable as well, and we don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. So, he puts this idea together. If I'm uncomfortable sharing needles with this skank, then perhaps everyone else is. This is truly a problem, a drug problem, but Johnny had the solution. Not drug treatment, because that would be silly, but a taxpayer-funded enabling. Because that's all we're getting here, according to the Pig. Now, this story has gotten so insane. Not the story, but the comments. Excuse me. I barely got into the comments of this thing on Inside Huntington's Facebook page before seeing something I thought was very telling. Several comments that I saw almost immediately are people thinking this is an April Fool's joke. Now, what does that say? When something that the government has done seems so silly to people reading this that they think it's Gator pulling a prank on them. That says something. Really, think about it. But then it gets crazy too. And I could have picked from 1,000 comments, but I saw one from, Bobby Carter Casto. And she says, well, this is discrimination. This is kind of cool. This is discrimination. You should also hand out rape kits. You know, sarcastically, of course. But hey, why not hand out rape kits? Be proactive. Rape a chick, give her a rape kit. It speeds up the process. That's more sarcasm, and it's not funny. But it was, she had a point to make there, of course. You know, now she poses the question, is this the best solution? Not the rape kits, but the drug kits. Is this the best solution to the problem? Exclamation point. Repeatedly. Really? Question mark. You know, I don't think it is myself. We would probably agree on that. But not the rape kits. Now, Bobby is then personally attacked, and this is a big part of the problem, by Terry Napier, who may be a super cool chick. I don't know, but she immediately personally attacks her, basically calling her stupid, basically saying she's on welfare, and she only comes out of her trailer to go to the Save-A-Lot and spend her food stamps or go use her medical card. I have a problem with this for several reasons that aren't drug related. First off, Many people in our state live in trailers, and you just alienated them from listening to your opinion. They will not hear your opinion because you just insulted them. Terry, I grew up in a trailer. Many people I know grew up in a trailer. So that's kind of a side note, but she immediately attacks Bobby. Now, Bobby responds with an absolute in-your-face reply, and with some insults herself, which also I don't think is cool. But apparently Bobby does very well for herself and does not live in a trailer, as Terry thinks that's a horrible, horrible thing. And we have different kinds of comments. June Brundage says, diseases are not chosen. Drugs are. Well, diseases are not chosen. That part is absolutely true. Drugs are. Drugs are chosen. But people make mistakes. I am very lucky personally not to be a heroin addict myself. For some reason, when I was young, I was incredibly afraid of getting hooked on addictive drugs. So, I smoked pot, I drank beer like a champion back then. But I never did anything that was addictive. But I'm very lucky. A lot of other people, kids, people just want to be cool, people fit in, they'll try something once, and some of this stuff, all it takes is one time, and you're done. So June, you were being nice, you weren't insulting anyone, but your comments really not thought through, and we should always think through our comments. Coming for the guy who was making the rape kit comments, kind of stupid. We all have, let's see, I've put a lot of time into this, I want you to know, because I really, really, really freaking care. And I made you a pie chart after looking at all the comments on the Inside Huntington page. And I've come up with most people are dumbasses and just want to fight on Facebook. And a small percentage of people actually operate with reason as their guide. I also noticed some other things. Some people have ideas, but those ideas they're not shared ideas, but they're ideas. They're ideas that we could talk about. There are ideas that could create dialogue, and that dialogue, when friendly, can bring us to solutions. But we go back to the dumbass pie chart that I threw on the floor a second ago, and it blows this all to hell. And we have a bunch of people who really just don't care. Now, government's not going to give us a fix to this, people. We will. People will. But only if we accept that we aren't always the smartest person in the room. And only if we refrain from immediate knee-jerk insults on people. I mean, it's freaking ugly. Read the thread, guys. It is ugly. You're not going to get anywhere that way. Now, I know I do a lot of crazy stuff and say a lot of crazy things, but everything I do is based on some sort of reason or has a real purpose to it. It's not to fight. If you do want to fight with me, I'll join you on Gator's thread and we'll just go to town. But we're not going to answer the questions right now, but there are a lot of questions. Is the government in this situation enabling? You know my opinion on that. Is there big money changing hands? This is something that really should be looked into. Is there a desire to keep the drug problem going? How much money is being made on curing, which only happens a small percentage of the time, drug addicts? Most of the time, a lot of money is paid, tons of money is paid. That money's coming from somewhere. All the care that goes into it. Everything that is put into all of these expensive issues, it's tasty to people. People like money. That's just the way it is, and people will do anything. It happens all over the county, all over the state, all over the United States of America, all over the world. People will do the wrong thing for money, and they'll make it look kosher when it's not necessarily. So that's something we should think about. We should take into consideration as we make these comments. Should we jail more or less? You know, another interesting concept. What's happening when people goes to jail? Also on Inside Huntington, there is another recent story of a repeat offender, you know, who's basically a good person who is hooked on heroin and does a lot of stupid things, and you know, he's been in jail, I guess, dozens of times, and they hold him for a little bit and then put him back out. This is one of the people who just recently got one of the free goodie bags from the health department. You know, how much money does it cost to keep a person like that in jail? For how long? When they're detoxing in jail, are they getting medical treatment in jail as well? How much does that cost? There are a lot of questions. If we don't know the answer to these questions, then we can't make proper decisions. So we need to find these things out. Should we legalize it? You know, that's one of my things. A lot of people their biggest problem with the drug problems we're having right now are the murders in the streets, the violence, the crime, the theft. If it was legalized, if prohibition was taken away, would that not get rid of the gangs from Detroit and elsewhere, and the other folks that are supposed to be moving in soon? More details from Alligator Jackson on that soon. Would that kill the black market that keeps all that alive? If it's legalized, then there's no more need for the illegal trade, and with that goes the shootings and goes a lot of the crime. You know, we send the criminals, most of them, packing back to where they came from. They've already destroyed Detroit and wherever else they're coming from. Let them go back there and finish the job if it's not already done. Now, drugs are going to be here, and we have to decide how they're going to be dealt with, and we have to decide using reason, not knee-jerk responses, not I don't like drugs so I say this, or so-and-so should be involved, so-and-so should not be involved. We have to get our crap together if we're going to solve the drug problem. But right now, I think there's a lot of I don't know if you would call it racketeering, but profiteering. There's a lot of profiteering going on with this right now, and there's a lot of crime that doesn't need to be happening. It's my personal opinion. This has been The Pig, and I'm freaking out, baby. Later.